What's going on, Ghost Heads? It's another edition of the Ghost Heads Radio Show. My name is Ted, aka Steady, and joining me on this very special occasion is one and only Retro Ray, and we have a very special guest with us. Somebody that fans of Ghostbusters have known for a very long time. She's had a hand in a handful of the movies, and most importantly, she's actually performed as everyone's favorite little green spud, Slimer from Ghostbusters 2, the one, the only. Robin Shelby. How you doing, Robin?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for doing this. Ghostbusters fandom is pretty much at an all-time high. We've not had so much content, movies so close together, animated shows on coming up. It's the 40th anniversary this year, so there's just so much to celebrate. You must be having a ball. What does it feel like for you, who's you've been a part of these multiple films? What does it feel like to to see the fandom and the fans continuing on, just celebrating this glorious franchise?
Well, I've always been so grateful because the fandom has always kind of embraced me and been so kind and generous and sweet and all the events that I've been at. It's just been appreciation both ways. So I'm excited. I hope there's a lot of celebrations around the 40th. I'm ready to be there. I'm ready to take part in it. Very grateful. It's kind of surreal even today to think that I've been lucky enough to not just be part of one, but actually two of the films. So I'm the luckiest lady there is. Very fortunate.
We love that. And this year, we're actually celebrating. It's getting overshadowed by the 40th, but Ghostbusters 2, 35 years is not too shabby. And you had, multiple just great parts in it, playing everyone's favorite little green spud, Slimer. There he is with the legendary Rick Moranis. Tell us, how did you get involved with the project? I assume that it's not something anyone's sort of looking to do. You probably just fell into it, or something serendipitous happened there.
Yeah, about a year before Ghostbusters, I had an agent. I was living in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and I worked on a film called Willow at ILM, and I was one of the trolls that was
That's right.
met
Yeah.
met Willow on the bridge and crawling the walls. And they had a year later they were putting together Ghostbusters 2 at ILM. They had already had a Slimer, but they wrote Slimer apparently out of the script. He took another job. He became employed at another job. They needed
Sure.
Slimer back when they said we need somebody who's kind of this kind of energy about this size. What we need to find someone, and they remember me from Willow. There's one of the managers there, Ned Gorman, who was I still keep in touch with, who's amazing. Brought me up and said, "Hey, why don't we call her in and see if she's right?" And so, had I not done Willow, I might not even be talking to you today about
Wow.
Ghostbusters. So yeah, pretty cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, Willow, you were the troll under the bridge. How does one get started in sort of these? I mean, you're sort of in between a stunt actor and a character actor. What would you call it specifically? Character work.
Uh, a little bit of stunt with Willow. It was almost a little bit of a stunt because what I did, they had me harnessed and I was hanging from a pole about 12 feet, 14 feet in the air, and then he's supposed to get eaten off a bridge. So they tugged me on the harness and I fell into a mat. That was like the hardest shot. And a little story that I've told before, but the night before I shot that, I was running 102 fever and throwing up every half an hour.
Oh my
I had the
god.
stu- I had the stomach flu, and that morning my father called in sick to work, packed me into the back of the car with a pillow and a blanket, said, "I'm driving you," and he stayed there to make sure that I was okay, and I got through it somehow, and I didn't throw up in the troll mask, which was good. That would have been just nasty. That would have been bad, but I made it through the day. And I worked a couple. And then there's another day that I came back and I worked it was like the trolls crawling the walls, which is I wasn't really crawling the walls. I was actually on the floor on my side, and
Yeah.
they took that image and put it on the wall. But much easier day that day. Um, but that's kind of the story of Willow, and again, grateful. Oh my gosh, had I called in sick and said I couldn't make it to Willow, that the story would have changed. Absolutely.
And all I'm picturing is un- gladly you weren't in the costume vomiting because it's got nowhere else to go but just in the costume with you. So that would have been the absolute worst. And
I got lucky.
So you had a this with the release of the comic just recently that was tied to the movie. You guys did a special event in Los Angeles where the
Yes.
writer was there and they had you and a couple other guests. How was it interacting with fans at that event?
I like I said, I always love it. I haven't done that was my first event pre-pandemic. I
Oh
hadn't
wow.
done an event in a while. So it was great. It was kind of nice to be back out there and talking to the fans again, and everybody again was so sweet, and I had a great day, and we all kind of hung out together. And yeah, it was wonderful to be back out and kind of doing the hanging thing with the fans. It was great. I had a lot of fun.
what is the most unique item a Ghostbuster fan has asked you to sign or take a photo with, or just, unusual request or most unique request they've made?
The most the most unique request, and it actually was kind of a joke. Um, I was back east doing one of my first events, so it was kind of new to me, and I had like a cousin second removed that his dad said, "You're going to go up to her and ask her to sign your tush." Yeah, and and he took it very seriously. He was like earnestly saying, you know, can you sign my tush? And I said, I can't. I just can't do it. Meanwhile, his dad, my relative, was laughing hysterically, seeing everything. He knew exactly what was going on. So that that to me it was pretty funny. But I for a second I'm like, oh my gosh, I have signed an arm. I have signed an arm. Um,
Wow.
Wow.
with I think they might have been getting, and I hope they didn't tattoo it on their arm. I guess if that's what you choose to do, but I'm not sure why they had me sign their arm, but I did. It was my pleasure. It was all good.
So what
There you
items do
go.
you, I mean, I'm pretty sure people bring ghost traps, they bring proton packs. Which one do you so as you because of course every guest brings items to sign like
Mhm.
certain photos from the movies and stuff. What is the number one item that you get people pick to get signed?
That's a really good question. Probably either the trap or their proton pack. But
Nice.
at this last event, I signed an automobile. I signed an Ecto,
Oh,
which
Wow.
nice.
I always get nervous signing an Ecto, even the little miniature Ectos, because I know it's your property. If I ruin it and I sign it and I screw it up, I'm gonna feel so bad. So I'm always super careful when it comes. If it's my own photo I'm signing to you, what's the worst that can happen? I mess it up. I throw it away and I give you one that works. But if it's your property, I really kind of and proton packs. I know how much work goes into those, and I always am very careful. Where do you want me to sign it? Okay, are you gonna have any other signatures? What do you want? Because I don't want to mess it up for them.
Take us back to the set of Ghostbusters 2.
Mhm.
You're wearing a practical like Slimer suit. I'm pretty sure it's thick, it's probably uncomfortable. You probably can't move around very much in something like that cuz it'll either tear or, something will happen with it. What are some of the challenges that you faced, and what are a couple of occurrences that really just stick out to you, or that you just remember from that whole experience?
Good questions. Everybody says, "Was it hot?" And oh, yes, it was hot. But the worst part was probably the weight. because under
Ooh,
everything moved, like it all had servos and motors and hoses and wires, and it probably like weighed, I'm guessing, a good 35, 40 pounds. Well, I was weighing like 85, 90 pounds when we shot that. Um, and it was heavy. Yeah, it was really, really heavy, but I got
my
used to it.
gosh.
They were really careful. They were always checking in on me. Me having that was like my first big job, and I just wanted to make everybody happy. And there's one point that we were shooting, and I I I said, no, let's keep going, because they kept every hour they would say, let's take the head off, let's give her some water, let's let her get some air, and I'm like, you know what, we're close, let's just keep going. And at one point they're trying to give me more direction, and I wasn't responding. I didn't answer the back, and Tim Lawrence, who is kind of directing us at ILM, he's like, uh, Robin, right, Robin, get her out. And they were just like, get her out now. And I think I just was like, I was at that point, I pushed myself too hard. I really couldn't blame them. I'm the one who kept on saying, let's go for another one. We can do this. So
Wow.
lesson learned. If you're really exhausted, just take that break if you need
Yeah.
to.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a lot of pressure, right? You have an entire, team that's, focusing on you, and you feel like you have an obligation to keep everybody working and moving forward and progressing. And yeah, you're a trooper. You tried to, stick it through all those times. Am I right in thinking you only shared scenes with Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters 2? Is that accurate?
Yeah, and I never actually. They shot all of his stuff. I believe all of it was in New York.
Right.
Before I was even brought in, so I never got to meet him. And it's
No.
and I'm bummed because I absolutely adore him. When people say, "Oh, who's your favorite Ghostbuster?" I always say Lewis, because he kind of became a Ghostbuster
You're
in two,
absolutely right.
So and I adore him. He's such a great actor, and he has my heart. He's just such a good actor, and I so enjoy him. But so hopefully, I still will get to meet him and introduce myself as, "Hey, I co-starred with you in Ghostbusters 2." You don't know that, but yeah, what they would do is they shot all of his stuff, and then they would give me the tape of what they shot, and I would go home and listen to it, so I would know the dialogue and be able to know the timing of it while we were shooting. There was a scene where Slimer gets off the bus with Lewis that got cut,
Oh
and it's
wow.
where he wants to go with him. And there was some dialogue, there was reaction from both of them, and I listened to that probably 250 times before I went on the set, just to get his timing down, so I would know. Um, that was so much work, but so much fun. That was acting. That was getting to react to, an actor like Rick Moranis. It was so much fun. But that got cut for time, and it was probably one of the most um, probably the best thing that we shot, in my opinion. If had it been put together,
Oh man.
at the end of the day, like the whole team just kind of started applauding everybody else, because it just went that well. Yeah, and it's all good. And I think even Michael Gross, who is producing it, said that's one of the. I think I what I understand, he turned to one of our team and said that is the most animated and intricate performances I've ever seen from a character. And
Man, we need that. We need to
yeah,
see that. We need to
yes.
see that.
So Sony, I'm begging you, put it together, and I
Yes.
would love to see it. Um, but it just was cute. Basically, I don't know if have you seen outtakes on the internet?
I have seen some, yeah.
Yeah.
He just gets off the bus, and Slimer's like following him. He's basically wants to go, and he's like, no, no, you have to go. But hey, let's go bowling with those arms. I bet you're a great bowler. And then he licks Slimer and then flies off. It's very cute, and it kind of
Oh,
explains what happens. He picks them up, but you don't know what happens after he picks Lewis up on the bus. So
yeah.
that would have kind of made it go full circle a little bit, but it's all good. It happens. It's part of Hollywood. Scenes get cut for whatever reason. There you go. There there's
Nice.
there's the there's the little guy on the bus. But that was probably my favorite scene to shoot. But yeah, it was so much fun. Maybe we'll see it one day. I'm hoping.
The cartoon series, it helped people fall in love with Slimer even more because he was featured more in the cartoon series. So seeing him in the movies later, and made people fall in love with that character a lot more as well.
And I think that was a little bit inspired with him wanting to go with him from the animated series. Like he became more of a helper. Like, hey, I'm your buddy. I want to go with you and help you out. Um,
Nice.
definitely, he had his sweet moments. Slimer had his sweet moments in the film, for sure.
Yeah. And it feels like with this last iteration with Frozen Empire, Slimer got to help a little indirectly with the final act. And so I hope it's something they continue, and it's not, I don't think it's out of left field if they decide, you know what, Slimer can be the house pet and he can actually
Right.
converse or have some sort of dynamic just like the animated show. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, and I feel like they're kind of building towards that, and I think it'll be fantastic.
I kind of love
Fans have
it.
all been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. I think he should become, like you said, almost like a green house pet. I love it. That would be great.
Let's see here. So it's so crazy that you didn't get to share any direct contact with Rick, but that's Hollywood, I guess, right? You also came back for Ghostbusters 2016, the Kevin. I was gonna say Kevin Feige, but that's wrong. Paul
Paul
Feig.
Feig.
Yeah, the Paul Feig film, and you now portrayed Lady Slimer, which was a great addition to the lore. How was I know that there was a lot less that you shot for 2016, but how was that experience different from Ghostbusters 2?
I always joke it's like playing Lady Slimer. I've played my own love interest, so I needed to go into therapy. I'm joking. Um, it was fun. The fact that Paul Feig, who I'd never met, by the way, reached out to me that
Wow.
Christmas prior in a tweet, a private message in a tweet saying, I have something for you if you want it. I'm not sure if you want to do it, but, and of course, I'm screaming, yes, 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 I want to do it. So that kind of says a lot about Paul. I think he really tried to reach out to certain people, include um, some of the past um, members of cast and crew. And I
Sure.
think for him, it was kind of like a love letter to, he's a huge fan. And
Yeah.
I think he tried to write his own little love letter to Ghostbusters. But I'm so grateful that he let me be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was I know that fans like to talk back and forth about 2016, but I honestly I was entertained. It was fun and I had a good time.
Yeah.
It actually left me wanting more. It was just like this was fun, but I know that there's something, really really out there that we they can do later on. And then when Jason came around and, started writing Afterlife and included, the ghost of Egon and his story and his family, it was just like, yes, that's exactly something that we are definitely more engaged with as a fandom. The story about fallen Ghostbuster and his family carrying on the legacy. That's just fantastic. You've done appearances with Ghostbusters chapters. You've actually talked a little bit about that before that we started talking or recording. You and everybody else who've made these films have inspired fans all the way back since 1984 to not on put on flight suits, but to, wear proton packs, build their own, and now they go out into the world and they try and better their communities, and they raise funds for great causes, and they collect toys to donate to kids. What does it mean to you to see fandom and fans go out and kind of take up this mantle for Ghostbusters and see your legacy continue on in the way that it has, spreading all this positivity.
Well, with so much negativity in the world, for the Ghostbusters fans to go out and create something positive from something they love, we need more of that. It's like they're helping children's hospitals and
Yeah.
cancer research, and I mean, how can that not be amazing? And I love taking part in like the breast cancer walks and joining in when I can to help. It's all great, and I can only tell every franchise, just keep it up. We need it. Keep doing what you're doing, because you make a difference where you live, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely is true.
Absolutely. Have you ever kept anything from set? I mean, I know that so many studios, especially Sony, they like to bag and tag everything and make sure that they keep everything. But have you been allowed to sort of keep anything from either of the projects?
They did give me there's a maquette. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 inches tall, and they made like 14 of them with different colors to decide how they were going to color Slimer for the final project, that they could look at and decide, okay, this is what we want. I
Wow.
was given one of them at the end. I was given an arm which disintegrated. It's
Oh.
latex, and if it's not protected, but what I recently did, I have a tongue, one of the latex tongues that uh, there's there's a gentleman. His name is Aryan. He did some of the special effects in the last film, and we talked. And I told him I had this tongue. He goes, you know what? We're gonna get some pizza. Bring the tongue. I'm gonna see what I can do. And he kept it for 2 days, and he put it in a solution that hardened and saved it, because
Oh
otherwise
wow.
that tongue would have been gone. And so appreciative of him doing that. And he's a huge Ghostbusters fan. He goes, I can't let this go. I can't let this die. Let me see what I can do. And he was nervous because he was really fragile. And I said, look, if it breaks, it's gonna break anyway with nothing being done. So
Yeah.
I'd rather you try, even if something happens. Let's see. I think you're gonna be fine, but if something happens, don't worry about it. And it was perfect. I mean, now it's in like a glass case, and it's gonna be there forever, hopefully.
That is a great conversation starter. Hey, what's that? Well, it's a tongue.
And the maquette is just so amazing too. I mean, like that's probably, out of every Ghostbuster item that I've had, that to me, and it's signed by Michael Gross on the butt, and
Wow.
it's signed by the one of the puppeteers at the bottom, Mark Siegel, who was one of the puppeteers. I had him sign it, and I wanted to bring it to other events, but I'm afraid to ever bring it on a plane or
Sure.
keep it in a hotel room.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
would it be stolen? Would it get broken? Would it? And it would kill me. So I want to bring it, like Ernie would sign it for me. I'm sure, and I'm just afraid to kind of, next time I see him in LA, if we see each other for the 40th, maybe at Sony, if they have an event. Sony, have an event for the 40th. Come on.
They got
Um,
to. How
they
can't you?
come on. We got to celebrate. We do. Um, I'll probably bring it there, because that doesn't mean travel per se. That would just mean bringing it with me. So if you see me at a 40th event in LA, you might get to catch a peek at the maquette. I'll probably have it with me.
That'd be
I'm
fantastic.
I'm wondering if you should just like have a photo taken so that fans, if they go to an event, they can get a photo of that and get that signed, and they can take something back with them. That, you know what I mean?
Nice. That's a great idea. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, because that would be cool to have in your
I'm
house.
mulling
I
it.
mean, because it's one of a kind. So you know what I mean?
It is. Yeah, I think I want to say there are 13 or 14 of them made. All of them are slightly different in the color and the style, so they can kind of play with what it is that they wanted to end up with. Um, and on the last day of filming, they said, "Here you go," and I was, yeah, floored. And it's
Oh,
been
that's
through two
amazing.
major earthquakes.
Oh,
It's been through the Loma Prieta earthquake in the Bay Area when I was living there, and the Northridge earthquake,
Wow.
and
wow.
and and it's still around, and everything is okay. Everything is good.
So do you buy? So like certain people who or certain franchises will buy the characters if they make toys or things like that. But Slimer has more than one type of toy. You got Funko, you've got the toys that NECA's made. You got so. Do you buy? Do you catch yourself buying those things to have for your your collection?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna grab something really quick.
Okay.
Give
Go
me
for it.
one second.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
gonna show you something,
Absolutely.
and I've actually posted a picture of this.
Nice. That is
I
so
love it.
cool.
Isn't that fun? I
That
saw
is
it at
amazing.
Hot Topic, and it just got the best. Oh, you might not be able to see it very well with the background on. It's got the most iridescent green Slimer on the hat. I just love it. I just
That's
love it.
so
Yeah.
cool.
And you'd go broke if you bought everything, but there's certain things you look at and you're like, I have to have that. That I have to grab that. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm guilty. I buy things if it's unique and cute. Oh wait, I want to see that again. Oh, I love it. I
Yeah, the
love
camera's
it.
not zooming in, but they came out with all the secret Ghostbusters little toys now, and there's
Oh,
like 6 Slimers. So yeah, I have 2 of these. This is one of them. My daughter stole my other one, and I gotta find that. But yeah, just so much merchandise for the little green spud. It's
Yeah.
do you
fantastic.
guys buy a lot as well? Being out and about, do you end up picking up merchandise too?
Oh yeah, I don't have a museum per se, but I have my beautiful proton pack here. I have a few ectos, action figures. I actually have the Venkman Slimer Funko from the 35th anniversary,
Oh, awesome.
and I have a Funko Firehouse, and it's actually signed by both Ernie and Bill. And I just need you, Dan. I'm coming for you. So yeah, need to find Dan somewhere and get that signed. Ernie will be in our hometown in late June. So if you don't see him for the 40th anniversary, I'm gonna tell him you need to give Robin a call when you get back to LA, and hopefully you can get that maquette signed.
He's so amazing. He's definitely someone that I did my first convention horror hound in Cincinnati,
Mm.
and this is a while back. I want to say it was like 13 years ago, and I met him, scared to death. It was like doing my first convention, didn't know what I was doing, and I was next to Ernie and Slavica, who played Gozer,
Mm.
um, and Ernie was just I watched him at the fans, to be honest, and he is so amazing. Any celebrity should watch him for what to do with fans that approach you. He cares. He's just amazing, and that was a great first experience for me. And we became fast friends after that. He's he's amazing, so sweet.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
you're not wrong. I've been lucky enough to interview Ernie around 8 or 9 times,
good,
and I've seen him plenty of times with fans, and everybody says the same thing. One of the best with the fans, just gives you so much one-on-one time, and
exactly.
he's so genuine, and he's great with the kids, and he just knows without people saying anything. He knows almost like what you want to hear or what you want him to say, and it's just yeah, he should teach a course one-on-one convention going
Yes,
101. Yeah, he's
and
literally one of the best.
it was wonderful being there watching him because it was a great. Okay, Robin, you can see how they're reacting. This is you need to be this in touch and connected and approachable while you're meeting the fans that came here to meet you. And I've been at some conventions, not any Ghostbusters people, some other people from other shows that you just like if if I don't want to be so it's better to say no than to go to a convention that you just don't want to be at because your
Yeah.
fans are going to walk away with an impression you don't want to leave them with. It's better not to be there than to show up. And I just if I go, I throw myself in, you know, full stop. I'm there and I just have fun and try to enjoy it. But yeah, so if any celebrities are watching, if you go to a convention, just be there ready to mingle and meet and engage with people for sure.
So, question for you. So, have you ever been to Texas?
I have. I did a convention in Houston a while back. It's been a
Oh,
while,
okay.
and it was super hot when I went. It was kind of toward the summer, but I have, and I didn't get to see the town very much. Which that's the bad thing about doing a convention. You get to meet people, but you don't really get to spend a lot of time seeing where you are. And I would have loved to have spent more time walking around the city.
Yeah,
Hey, we got to do a
absolutely.
40th anniversary event, Ted, for Countdown for
I
Ghost
think so.
Heads.
I think so too. We'll see what we can conjure up in what are we 2 months away? In 2 months away from
Oh
Ghostbusters
wow!
Day, we'll see what
And
we can
wow.
conjure up. That would be amazing.
Yeah, for
Well, look,
sure.
if I can help it anyway, you let me know.
That would be
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have, yeah, we have some pretty cool stuff in our town. We have the first ever Ghostbusters speakeasy at it's a bar chain, not too far from where I live,
How fun!
and we throw 2 or 3 parties there a year, and it's just the coolest, and they're the best staff, and so yeah, it's like memorabilia overload in that speakeasy. There's
Oh,
a
I have
there's
to come. I have to show up. I
there's a
have to go.
There's a beautiful Slimer actually on mounted on the wall, and he looks fantastic.
Oh my
So yeah,
gosh!
you gotta
If
try and check it out.
I will, and what city is that in? That the
San
speakeasy
Antonio.
season? San Antonio. I'm
Oh
ready.
yeah,
So if I'm ever in San Antonio, I promise I will check that out.
we should
That
have
sounds like
it.
fun.
Yeah, they're gonna keep it because they kind of move themes around every 2 or 3 years. So I know we'll have it through the summer. It's up in the
Oh,
air
good.
after that, but yeah, it's awesome. Robin, you've been an absolute gem, and it's so wonderful to kind of hear these stories and talk about your part in this vast legacy that we all love, and it's near and dear to our hearts. Ghostbusters. Any final things you want to say? Any appearances you have coming up, or anything else you want to say to the fans out there watching?
Um, well, to the fans again, thank you. Thanks for supporting the films, the people in them, and have worked on them. You're appreciated just as much as you appreciate us. Um, Check out we there's a web series that my husband and I have created. I don't know if you've checked it out. Two Cops in a Car.
Yeah.
So if you, I think we're gonna do one more season coming up. So that's always fun, and they're very short, like 3 to 5 minutes long. 5 minutes is like the longest episode, so they're very easy. We say we build them for people with ADHD, so you can just so you don't have to focus for very long things, right? And so check it out if you get a chance. But no, I'm just very appreciative and thank you guys for asking me to be here. You've been a
Oh,
Definitely.
thank
pleasure
you.
to talk to.
And where can they find the web series? Is that on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. Yes,
Okay,
type in it's Two Cops in a Car, the number two Cops in a Car. But it's also the channel is called Sean and the letter N Robin. It's Sean and Robin, and then you can
great.
find it that way too. But yeah, it's just fun. You could probably binge the 3 seasons we've done in like 45 minutes, um, because they're like little vignettes and they're very short and very sketch comedy-ish in a way. It's just about two inept, very silly cops that have no idea what they're doing. And so it's fun. It's fun.
I love it.
But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And go check out Two Cops in a Car. Go subscribe to the channel, of course. Follow Robin on Instagram so you can find out when she'll be making another convention appearance. Hopefully, it'll be near our neck of the woods in the future. And Sony, when Robin Shelby asks you to hold a 40th anniversary celebration, I don't think you're allowed to tell her no. So go ahead and set something up. We got plenty of time, and you got to do it because Robin asked, so you got
And
to do it.
Sony, put that scene together, getting off the bus.
Yes.
Too. To both of those. So you have an assignment, Sony, 40th anniversary, and the scene getting off the bus.
Yes, for sure.
It's
That would be great.
it's out there somewhere. I'm sure they could find it.
Oh, I hope so. But thanks, you
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.